Well, it looks like MotoGP's 2026 rider lineup has been set. That means it's time to talk about how every team did this year in terms of their signing season. I mean, there were only like 4 moves to talk about, so this video is noticeably shorter than the one that I did last year, but I still wanted to make it just to give a brief summary of signing season and give my thoughts on every move that was made. Without further ado, my name is B, this is the Beehive Paddock, and today I'm grading every MotoGP team's 2025 signing season. First up, and the only factory team on the list, is HRC. Despite rumors of Johan Zarco, Pedro Acosta, and Jorge Martin joining the squad, they ultimately re-signed Luca Marini. Marini has looked really good as of late and is yet to suffer a DNF on the notorious crash-happy Honda this year. I think that a 2026 deal works really well for him in Honda. If his form continues, he can raise his own value, and people seem to be assuming that Honda will have a competent bike in 2027, so they have the freedom to then sign him again or not. There's really not much to talk about here. I mean, he's been quite good recently. Will that form continue? I hope so, but who can be sure? It's boring, but in a good way. I'd give this move a B+. Honda's satellite squad LCR Honda is much more interesting, as they're one of only 2 teams to actually make 2 moves this year. Since 2018, the garage has been split in 2, with a Castrol-sponsored bike and an Idemitsu bike reserved for East Asian talent. Well, after failing to acquire Ayagura, Idemitsu took a bit of a long shot with Somkhiat Chantra this year. That bet did not cash out. With the Chantra experiment having been a thorough failure, Diogo Moreira has reportedly been signed to a multi-year Honda factory contract with a guaranteed year at LCR, now without the Idemitsu branding. In terms of current Moto2 talent, I think Gonzalez, Canet, and Moreira are all probably capable of cutting it in MotoGP next year, and since MotoGP teams seem allergic to Canet, Moreira is a solid choice. The youngest and most aggressive of the championship contenders, it is also worth noting that he will be the first MotoGP rider to compete under the Brazilian flag since Alex Barros. Considering MotoGP is returning to Brazil for the first time in over 2 decades next year and is generally expanding its presence in South America, this is also a good move from a marketing standpoint. But make no mistake, Moreira does deserve to be here on talent alone. Either way, I think LCR Honda have picked up a promising rookie heading into the new regulations cycle. In addition to picking up Moreira, LCR Honda have also re-signed Johan Zarco, fascinatingly, to a 2-year deal. Quite the opposite of the rookie Moreira, Zarco is the seasoned veteran and is the oldest full-time rider on the grid. He has consistently been able to make the Honda work better than his fellow riders, and this year has found a win and 2 consecutive podiums. These feats and his general pace with the less than successful modern Honda led to his name being in talks for the factory seat this year. LCR have managed to retain him though, and the man who has led them to beat HRC in the team's championship last year will remain. This probably has more to do with HRC being unwilling to sign him rather than any masterful negotiation from LCR, as Zarco made it pretty clear that he would take a factory seat. But still, I genuinely feel just as good if not better about LCR's lineup than HRC's, at least for 2026. The interesting thing about Zarco is that as of right now, he's the only rider whose team we know for 2027. And maybe that was something that Honda had to offer him to keep him happy without a factory seat, is guaranteeing that 27 spot, and the Honda does seem to be quite a coveted bike, so I think that if the Honda is as good as people are projecting it to be in 27, then they won't have any trouble filling that seat come 2028 when Zarco's contract expires, and I think that Zarco has earned that 2-year contract with them. As I mentioned, as a team, LCR looks great right now. I think they've got a very promising rookie and a veteran who has proven to be just incredibly capable and very popular as well. I'm going to give them an A-. Next is Pramac Yamaha, and they have really been the most interesting team in terms of this year's silly season. Jack Miller was out of contract at the end of this year, and Miguel Oliveira was contracted until the end of 2026 with some clauses, of course. Well, Pramac's first move was to sign World Superbike phenom Toprak Razgatlioglu, and then announced that despite Oliveira's contract, him and Miller would ride it out until summer break to see who would keep the remaining seat. Well, summer break came and went with no announcements, with Pramac reportedly scouting Moto2 talent until Miller told them to put up or shut up before he took another offer. So they did. And now Miller has once again extended his MotoGP career another year. With it seeming more and more likely that Yamaha is going to be running a V4 engine next year, I think that retaining Miller was the obvious choice. Having an experienced rider who has already ridden 3/4 of the V4s currently on the grid is an incredibly valuable asset. In addition, Miller is reportedly a great development rider, and that's something that they're probably going to need a little bit of help with. I think that having Miller's experience for 26 and then signing a rookie in 2027 is probably the better move than trying to sign 2 rookies now and hoping for the best. You may be able to put that eventual young talent onto a better bike. Toprak is a bit more of a wild card. I said in my video that was kind of about the topic that I could easily see him having a Colin Edwards type career, and that's nothing to scoff at. I don't think he'll win a championship for Yamaha or anything, but he could prove to maybe win a race or two along the way. Plus, in 2027, he may gain a slight advantage over some of his competition, giving his Pirelli tire experience. Overall, he's not a safe bet to win anything, but I think he's a safe bet for scoring them points. I'd give Pramac a B+. I don't think this squad will rock the ship in any way, but it gives them a strong base while they're still in the early stages of this new Yamaha partnership and Yamaha's new engine project. If you can't tell, I think everyone did pretty good this year. Finally, VR46 Ducati. VR46 Ducati had only one rider, Franco Morbidelli, whose contract was up this year, and it was recently announced that they would be retaining him through 2026. This move is fine. It's probably safe, but also Frankie hasn't been the most consistent rider this year. He's made a big step up from last year where he was far and away the worst GP24, now he's 4th of 6 Ducatis, although he has been trending downwards compared to Digi and Aldeguer. The problem is, as a Ducati team with a factory-supported bike, it feels like they could have attracted someone with more future promise than Morbidelli. I think Ducati has peaked in terms of their dominance, and I think we've also seen the best of what Morbidelli can do in MotoGP. Granted, 2026 seems to be a bit of a filler year, but it really feels like bringing in a potentially great talent could have been a good move for VR46 in order to keep that factory support, as it seems more and more likely that it will go to Gresini at some point. Of course, that's all speculation, and Morbidelli has made a step up this year compared to last year. I don't feel as confident about VR46 doing the same or better by re-signing Frankie as I do HRC doing the same or better by re-signing Marini, so I'll give them a B- to a B. But again, I think this move is fine. As I said, I think everyone did pretty good this year. I don't think anyone really made any mistakes. It was a very calm rider market compared to some other years. Next year will be absolutely off the rails, completely insane. However, there is one other team who didn't actually make a move that I would like to talk about, and that is Aprilia. I would like to give a shout out to Aprilia. They didn't make any moves this year, but they still had a key role in this year's rider market. Jorge Martin decided after some serious injuries to publicly announce he was considering leaving Aprilia. Whatever your thoughts on Martin's decision, Aprilia handled this perfectly. They never said anything overtly negative about Martin and always maintained that they would be able to keep him and continue to work with him. Now with Bezzecchi melding with the bike and Martin already putting in stellar performances after just a couple races back, they're in an amazing spot. I think that they handled a complex situation perfectly, and they've now set themselves up for a future where they seem to be the clear second best bike on the grid with some amazingly talented riders as well. Just A+. A+ in handling an insanely complicated and silly situation. And those are my thoughts. Very quick video just summing up a less than chaotic rider market. Next year's video will probably be 45 minutes long or something ridiculous. Let me know what you think about these moves. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Was I too nice? I feel like I might have been too nice. And what are your predictions for next year's insane rider market? Leave those down below. I would love to see them. I'm fascinated by what's going to happen in 27. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and a special thank you to my channel members: MBP2112, Venturian CRO, Sean, Moto Sapien, B, Jack the World's Fastest Maori, Drew Gibbs, Really Very Bored 1, Carl Ruppersberg, Schmalutin, Troy the Boy, Moneypenny, ASX91, Luis Campos, and Ian Ellison. These are the guys and gals who keep the channel running. If you would like to join them, press the join button down below. Thank you very much again to everyone for watching, and have a fantastic day.